Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany. Welcome back, or welcome if you've never been here before. Today I am sharing my August reading plans. So I like to structure these by starting with the book clubs that I want to be a part of. In this video, I'm going to go over all the reads that I want to get to for the Light versus Dark Romance Takeover Readathon. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to hit you with some new releases and then wrap up with the books that I'm picking for my DIY Bookish Advent calendar in December. I'm just excited about this month in general. If you don't know, I am a screenplay reader and the volume for that has drastically depreciated because my rate has gone up. So I'm really excited to get you a July wrap up, give you a freaking readathon vlog. I'm excited for things to pick up a lot more on this channel in the month of August. So I've been very busy. Thank you for bearing with me, but my life feels full, largely in part because of this channel. Anyway, housekeeping adjourned, let's get into it. For the Rake Appreciation Society, run by Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life and Jen from the Book Refuge, we will be reading The Wolf and the Dove by Kathleen Woodiwiss. And I'm very surprised that this is my first Kathleen, being that I own a lot of her. I mean, she is at every library sale. I even bought The Flame and the Flower on the Booktuber retreat, so I'm intrigued by this. This is a princess heroine. The hero's a dark knight. He storms her castle, possibly takes her captive. And I'm very excited for the discussion because this was written in the 70s. I'm also happy that this has an audiobook because she's a little thick, like 500 plus pages, but that audiobook will get me into formation and ready in time. So I'm very excited about what they picked for the month of August. Next, I'm going to be joining Cover to Cover Book Club, run by Sam from Sam Reads a Little and Tori from Novel Life. They picked, let me get it right here, Corrupt Kingdom by Ava Harrison. And this seems a little dark, so I am intrigued. The hero seemed like Mafia in the synopsis, like he's a heavy hitter in the underworld. He takes the heroine captive. She wakes up on a stranded island after, I believe, losing a poker game or being sold in a poker game. I hope she tried to swindle him in that poker game. Well, we'll figure that out. I'm really excited about this one. I will also be joining the Smut Club with Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl and McKay from Oh Hey It's McKay. They picked The Pageant by Lilith Vincent. And I have seen this book before. I believe the second is coming out soon. This is a Mafia reverse harem. So if you know anything about my reading taste, that you know, I'm hoping that there's some sword crossing. If you aren't familiar, sword crossing is when the heroes within the reverse harem, or heroes in general, have their own moments together during this steam. Okay, they aren't separate relationships. I love when everyone's together. And honestly, I haven't been able to top The Air by Katie Robert in terms of the sword crossing within a reverse harem. I mean, she's giving us a human tower in this. The mental gymnastics of bodily mechanics. Anyway, haven't been able to top certain scenes within this book. But I'm very intrigued by this because it seems very dark and sinister, twisted even. It's about a group of women that are kidnapped and made to compete in this pageant for the heroes. And it's all going to whittle down to just one jewel, I believe the synopsis said. I'm excited. I feel like there's a theme of captive up in here, and I'm not mad at it. It's one of my favorite tropes. Let's see. The next book that I have will be serving a multitude of purposes for me. It is the pick for two separate book clubs and my pick for the Light versus Dark Readathon, and that is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. Ravished by Romance, run by Jess from Peace Love Books and Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers. And the Out of Bounds Book Club, run by McKay and Nikki from Nikki and Bookland. Will be reading this in the month of August. And I'm so glad I waited because when I saw that Jen rated this 6 stars, I believe, I immediately wanted to jump into it This is an enemies to lovers, dark, almost revenge plot I've been hearing, with twists and turns and suspense. I am very ready to get into this. And clearly I am pledging my allegiance to the dark side for the Readathon. So the next book that I want to get into for that will be Even If It Hurts by Sam Mariano. I'm ready for another heady psychopathic hero from her. Oddly, last year I bookended my reading with that. On the 1st it was Untouchable, and on New Year's Eve it was Descent. I didn't plan it that way, but it seemed fitting, and I am more than ready for this book. This is actually one of the best books of the year so far for Nikki, from Nikki and Bookland. So I'm here for it, and I just love readathons. It's time to like get all of these in, which is why I also wanted to take this opportunity to get into some new to me authors that will be at Wanderlust in San Antonio. So I want to read Blurry by Michelle Hercules. This is an age gap and supposed to be like an accidental no strings attached situation until they find out that they truly have a student-teacher dynamic. So I was looking at the reviews for this and everyone was raving about the hero and about how gone he is for the heroine. So I hope this hits and compels me to pick up more from her before September. Excited about that. And the next in the stack has been one that's been on my TBR for far too long. And that is Priest by Sierra Simone. Finally, I will be reading this book. I cannot wait to read what happens on the altar that had everybody gobsmacked, and also the struggle with his vows, the conversation centered around religion in relation to the connection. And there's a reading vlog that Crystal did, and I loved the way that she talked about the conversation centered around faith. And so I'm ready to unpack those. I love Sierra Simone. She is a scalpel with words. So I'm ready to be cut deep, but it's also time for me to start this series and start working my way through. I'm here for it. I'm so excited about this freaking readathon. Next, Ante Up by Christina C. Jones. This I don't know much about. I do know that it's set in Vegas. Oh gosh, I love the cover. I love the overlay of the cards. I know that the heroine is supposed to be fierce. I remember Briefum and Love and Words talking about this, how this had a darker edge to it. And I've heard that this sort of has a Mafia feel, being that the hero is highly revered, feared, and respected in Vegas. I love to hear it. So I'm going to be going into this mostly blind, but this also has an audiobook, and I believe it's on KU. So I'll be able to hit this in multiple forms, and I'm excited about that. Lastly, for the Light versus Dark Romance Takeover Readathon TBR, Owned by a Sitter by Michelle Hurd. This has been on my TBR since the Mafia Romance Readathon. Michelle Hurd was just going around, and this intrigued me because I heard that the hero has an aversion to touch, yet he doesn't mind the heroines, and that's just catnip to me. I know that this is Irish Mafia, and I also know that this isn't the first in this series, but I heard that I could start with this one, so it's all happening. I cannot wait. Let's get into new releases. First and foremost, Aphrodite and the Duke by J.J. McAvoy is dropping on the 23rd. I still need to get through this arc, although I have started. This is a second chance romance where the hero broke the heroine's heart. He is now widowed and determined to make it up to her and win her back. Hopefully I can get through this during a vlog. Next, I'm very excited for Lunatic by Onley James. This is book 6 in her Necessary Evil series. This is going to be Archer's book, where for me, I feel like he's been a bit mysterious throughout this series, so I'm excited to learn a little bit more about him, and that he is paired with a hero that isn't an outsider completely to what the Mulvaneys do as a serial killing vigilante family. So I'm intrigued. Also, I know that Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall drops on the 2nd. It is a continuation of Luke and Oliver's story. I love Alexis Hall. I love how he writes a messy and comedic character. I'm so excited for that. I'm trying to think on top of my head. Is there anything else? Oh, I think Mafia Madmen drops this month as well by Mila Finelli. Am I right? Yes. It's going to be the third in the series, and the hero in this one is the villain from the duet, and the heroine I'm surprisingly very intrigued by because she's angelic, but I think she has a quiet strength. She's very different than her sister, who's the heroine within the duet. And I'm interested in seeing that mashup. So I think that's all I have for new releases. And I will wrap this up with the 2 books that I want to put in my DIY bookish advent calendar. So I have picked, okay, the back cover of my advent calendar pick made me drop all of my books. And so that is Hothead by Damon Suede. Thank you, Miss Anne Boleyn, for sending this to me. I see this as a comfort read. This is an MM, friends to lovers romance. I just am obsessed with the pining in this book. Griff and Damon are firefighters. They served during 9/11, and I love how this is told through Griff's perspective because you aren't sure if some of Damon's behavior is because his feelings are being reciprocated or if he's just being friendly. I love how they come together in this, and the plot gets a little bonkers in terms of them being forced to be confronted with each other's feelings, but I just love it so much. So I will be wrapping this up for December, and then of course Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. This is a student teacher age gap BDSM healing dark romance, and I love it so much. I think of all of the books, no matter what I wrap this in, I'm gonna know that it's Dark Notes, but I'm here for assured satisfaction. That is why I'm creating this calendar and not buying it from somebody else. So I am going to eagerly get into this in December. So I'm happy with my Advent picks, and also for my August TBR, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you can consider subscribing and sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.